G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game of Age of Empires 4. Today, we've got something special for you. We are not hitting you with a ranked game, no, we are actually hitting you with some tournament games. That is right, the tournament season for 2025 has well and truly begun. And today, we take a look at EGC Masters, the winter event that they're doing at the moment. So I'll leave a link in the description of where you can catch it live this weekend. Let's get into it. Let's introduce our players for you today. So, spawning over on that east side of the map, playing as the Malians in the color blue, representing Volda Esports. It's an esports org out of like Scandinavia. You know, all those, all the good countries, the countries that you wish you were born in, all those countries. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Muhudo. Muhudo? I'm not sure exactly what the pronunciation is. Apologies, Muhudo. Let's go with that. We're just going to be calling him Muhudo. And on the west side of the map, a man you'll be familiar with today, ladies and gentlemen, playing the Juicy Legacy in the color red, it's Lash. If you're enjoying this Age of Empires 4 content, make sure you go ahead and leave a like on the video. It really helps out with the traction of the video. And of course, if you're not subscribed, well, I don't believe it. I can't believe you're not subscribed at this point in Age of Empires 4's history. Anyway, let's get to it and talk a little bit about our matchup, what we can expect, and a little bit more about this tournament. So this tournament, it is part of EGC TV's, how would you say it? It's kind of like not the rounds that they do, but you know how every year EGC TV puts together a whole bunch of events? Well, they've put together a whole bunch for the circuit. There, that's the word I was looking for. The circuit. So what we're looking at here are the qualifying rounds to get into the main event. So these two players have made it all the way from the bottom of the table all the way to the top, and the winner of these games, so there'll be a couple of games between these guys, 5 games in total. I'm not going to bring you all of the games, I'll only bring you some of the games, but they will make it through to the main event, and then from there, so the qualifiers, by the time you're watching this, it will have been over. These two players, there would have been a victor that would have gone through, but the next weekend that you'll watch, it'll be group stages. And that's where you'll see players like Beastie, Marine Lord, all the big names. They're going to be up there fighting in the group stages. So that'll be good fun. So I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully you're looking forward to it as well. Let me know if you want to see more of it or whether you want me to stick with casted games. In fact, just as a general note, if there's anything that you want to see in particular, whether that be civs, strategies, content, whether that's FFAs, 1v1s, gaming. If you want to see Drongo back in the gaming seat, which you probably don't, because I'll be honest with you, it's not pretty. Let me know down in the comments, because we always keep an eye on those comments and see exactly what is going to be coming out. But Lash now moving forward with the Meditation Gardens on the side of Muhudo. I'm just probably going to avoid saying his name. It's not the most natural one for me. We do have the Mansa Quarry coming out for him. So Malians up against the Juicy Legacy. Juicy Legacy. Definitely going to find this one a bit fun. There's lots of berries on this map, which you will notice. The map that I don't think we mentioned, it's Bald Land that we're playing on today. So it is quite a bit of a bold map. Now, this is something that I do like a lot. One of the things that, you know, really kind of draws me back to Dry Arabia is the fact that we've got these two really big wood lines. So here is an example. This is a small wood line, or a small grouping of wood. On Dry Arabia, you start with two big clumps of wood, and that definitely, while we still have an open map, it definitely makes the game have the potential to be quite a turtley game, and you don't see that here. In fact, your wood lines are not as pronounced, and as a result, I expect civilizations that are going to be more reliant on wood, like the English, probably less favorable on a map like this. But one thing that is definitely going to be favorable on a map with all of this deer, which you may have already realized, is the prospects of professional scouts. At the moment, we do see Lash building towards it. He's got 3 vills, 4 vills on gold, stables coming down, the mill's in the back of the base. You know what time it is. I know what time it is. Professional scout time. The same time for his Malian opponent. The stable does come down for him as well. The beginnings of that professional scout are coming through, and I suspect we are going to have a double scout off here today. Now, with regard to this tournament, if you'd like to catch it this weekend, maybe set yourself a little timer. Normally, for me, tournaments start at 15 GMT. Now, this one started 2 hours later than that, so I'm not going to go ahead and say that it's 17 GMT, because there's probably a good chance daylight savings has something to do with it. So I'm going to go ahead and say 16 GMT. At least that was the time that I was spotting the tournament on. Now, I'm not going to be casting because it's like quite literally 2 a.m. for me. But the reason why I actually saw the games that were being played on the first night was because my little one woke up at 1 o'clock, and well, you know what it's like. You wake up and then you can't get back to sleep and you decide, well, I'm not going to sit here in bed and just try and get myself to sleep. I'm going to try and do something with my life, and I watched EGC TV instead. Anyway, we've got warrior scouts out for Mahodo. He's going to have to chase down Lash, and Lash will have no problem with that. We can see he actually manages to take out the sheep. With professional scouts, you can actually carry the sheep carcass in as well, so expect him to try and snag that one away. We do see him moving out towards the top side of the map. Mahodo going to spot out Lash's scout, get him out of here. Now, keep in mind, both of these players are Conqueror 3 players. As you would expect, as we get to the pointy end of a tournament, the better player, the cream of the crop, will rise. And it looks like towards this top side, not only do you have that base 7 damage, you've also got the plus 10 damage that scouts do to each other. So every scout gets that bonus damage. But of course, the warrior scout's going to be doing quite a bit more here. And early on, the Malians going to be controlling the narrative here, forcing Lash to remain in the base and probably going to have to move into a barracks, which we see, and immediately we have plenty of spearmen going to be coming out because he does have the supervision on it. Already got that upgrade through as well. The hardened upgrade has arrived. And this should hopefully allow him to secure at least his own hunt, because that's the reality, right? Like, look, you don't mind if the enemy denies a deer or two here, but you want to be getting the majority of that through. But Scout does go down. Spear has now joined the fray as well. Primary difference between these two scouts is not only the damage boost that you get from the warrior scouts, it's also that movement speed, 1.75 versus 1.62. So it does give you a bit more leverage when it comes to these little battles that are occurring. But have a look at this. 6 warrior scouts out now for our Malian player, compared to the only 2 scouts out that are here for Lash. So he's doing a really good job of just controlling these professional scouts, saying, hey, it's not going to happen, mate. You're not going to be taking these deer. And he tries to bait back those warrior scouts, isn't going to be able to find it. And we can see that there's plenty of them out here. And I wouldn't be surprised that these warrior scouts are going to be able to snipe away these deer and actually make a run for it. With the movement speed that they've got, we'll have a look and see whether he goes for it. Mahodo not going to be able to find it at the moment. Spear's too close on the tail, too hot on the tail. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see the archery range drop down. No, he's going to go into a racks himself. I don't know why you just don't go archery range here just to defend against the spears. But we'll see what the play is for him and how he looks to work this one out. I guess Donzos do technically work as well. If you've got a whole bunch of Donzos up against the spears, I think almost always you take the Donzos because they've got that extra melee armor on the base. If we take a look, you can see +1 melee armor, and that does help out because spearmen don't have a lot of damage, right? They've only got 8 damage, so 1 melee armor is going to help you out a huge amount there. You're getting rid of, like, what, 13%, 14%, somewhere in that region of the damage that they're doing. Donzo out towards the top side. Slightly less health, though. I guess that's one thing to know, but you've got better ratios on them. A little bit more food, a lot less wood. So that's always nice, and especially in environments like this when you've got professional scouts, there is no shortage of food. But now, chasing out the enemy scout, looks like Lash will be successful in picking up these deer for the moment. A lot of this deer is based towards the middle, so the expectation will be that you'll have to fight for it. Spears up against the Donzo. Spears are victorious. Mahodo now with 3 Donzos on the field. And the spears at the front are going to look to try and put some pressure on. A bit of siege coming through. We're right on board now with Lash and just get a bit of an idea on where these units are on the map. And you can see he's got great control here across the map. Starting to look really good. Not a whole lot towards that north side, but realistically, he controls 3 out of the 4 hunts. And hey, if you can secure 3 out of 4, you'll be doing very good, especially against warrior scouts. And now we do see Mahodo. Mahodo? It's kind of like Frodo, but with Mahodo. Okay, we got it. A little bit of Lord of the Rings action here. But yeah, archers are now going to start coming out. And this is going to be the key in denying this spearman offensive. Of course, the Donzo are always welcome, but the archers are really going to be putting the stop to it because you can try and trade out with these units, but the archers are going to give you so much value. 1.14 movement speed. Not going to be enough to escape from the spearman. Spearman able to chase down that warrior scout. Meanwhile, towards that south side, or down towards that south side, we've got some decent numbers. Horsemen out. Now going to be joining the fray here for Lash. We're right on board with Mahodo. Mahodo, just think of Frodo. That's how I'm gonna do it. Sorry, Mahodo. You're probably watching this going, this Drongo guy's an absolute lunatic. It's not hard. You gotta remember, man, I'm Australian, and we're a bit weird. That's an understatement. All right, well, at the moment, if we compare the pair, I mean, you'd have to give the advantage to Lash. And this is one of those things where it's like, I would love to see like a number for amount of like carcasses or, you know, in control or in proximity to buildings, right, for professional scouts. I'd love to know, like, when it comes to food control, what's the difference? Because you do see deer carcasses under the TC here, and we do have plenty of sheep, but compared to the Chinese, I don't know, something tells me that Lash is kind of ahead in this regard. So we'll keep an eye out on what the play is here for Mahodo, and whether or not he's going to be able to find a way back into it, because I think it was just about a bit of a delay in getting those archers out. It would have been nice, because he went a whole bunch of scouts, and then the spearman reaction came through, but if he got to those archers a little bit sooner, I don't think the spears would have been as instrumental as they were in this defense. But now, chasing away the enemy scouts, and look at the numbers for Lash. Lash looking really good with these numbers. 18 spearmen on the field. It looks like we might have a castle age. Have a look at this. He's up to 1,100 food at the moment, not a whole lot of gold. And it's going to be Zhukunu that he's moving into. Out of everything, it's the Zhukunu that he opts for. Zhukunu, of course, a little bit more difficult in this matchup to pull off in the feudal age just because of the Sofa Warrior. Very similar to the Lancer or the Knight, rather just the Knight, which has got that bonus armor, bonus ranged armor. So it does make the ratios that you're working with, or not ratios, but the numbers that you're working with slightly lower. So you typically want to avoid extended duration fights against the Malians in the feudal age. That's the Juicy legacy, but the numbers are starting to build here. Both players could be positioned towards that castle age right now, especially Lash, in particular Lash. He's got so many resources built up there. It feels like a little bit of a waste if he doesn't go for it at this point. Blacksmith going to be coming down in the back. It's going to be another utilization or another form of gold usage that he's got here. Keep in mind, he's already kind of struggling for gold. You can throw a couple horsemen, a couple spears in the queue, and that definitely helps you, but at the moment, might need to throw a couple more vills onto gold, and we literally see like 3 or 4 vills just immediately come out onto gold. Exactly what he needed to do. A little bit of a macro fix right there, and he'll be up. He'll be sailing up. So going to be going up with the Shaolin Monastery. No real doubt about that one. At the moment, Zhangnan Tower not really in the picture. I don't think he needs to move into the second TC yet. I think, ideally, even in this situation, you can avoid a second TC for probably... I'd say you want to try and pick up the relics and then throw down that second TC. That would be my go-to in this situation. Look to try and contest relics, and if we take a look at them at the moment, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. He's got good control across the map as well, so veterancy upgrades, relics getting picked up by the Shaolin monks, and then from there, the second TC behind that after the Zhangnan Tower, and that's when you can probably look at getting that farm transition through. He does still have access to a decent number of berries across the front of the base, as well as the berry bushes towards the back, so he should be fine with regard to food before that farm transition comes in. Now, over on the other side, Mahodo is going to be working in the number of cows, and this is something that you do need to be aware of, is that this Malian cow boom can come back to haunt you if you're not paying attention to its spiking power. So at the moment, we're right on board with the economy. We'll check in with that income per minute, get a bit of an idea on where these two stand, because you can see despite only having 11 vills on food, he's up to 700 food a minute, which is, look, I can tell you right now, these vills are not gathering 70 food every minute. That would be a lot of food. They would not be hungry vills. They would be very healthy. They'd be chubby little vills running around. You'd have little drongos all running around here. But obviously going to be the big cow landmark that goes down in the back of the base after his opponent has aged up. We do start to see the Shaolin monks making their way out onto the map. Professional scouts continuing to bring back these deer. When it comes to the amount of deer that's out on the map here, I think we may have run out now. There's a couple carcasses. That's going to be it, just the single carcass and the sheep that's over towards this top side of the map. Other than that, there's nothing really out here to grab. So that's pretty much everything. So you would expect that we're probably going to be seeing that transition of farms sooner rather than later. Meanwhile, on the this is a bit late on survival techniques. I'm gonna be honest with you. Survival techniques coming through as the Grand Fulani Corral gets dropped down. Whew, I don't know about that one, Chief. I don't know about that one. I definitely would have opted earlier rather than later for that upgrade. It is a very good upgrade if you can pick it up right as you start bringing in those deer. But have a look at this, as we might actually have a Vil that goes down. He's going to try and bring them back towards the town center. Fortunately, the Warrior Scouts do back out, so the Vil counts remain even Stevens at 47 a pop now in this game. Age up comes through on the side of Mahodo. Mahodo. So Mahodo now aged up. All 3 units getting upgraded. We see, what do we got? We got the javelin throwers, archers, and we've also got the Donzos. He's only got 7 javelin throwers out at the moment. Will do very well against the Zhukunu. A little bit of a push coming out from Lash, but I can't help but feel he's just almost doing a bit of scouting. I don't think he's going to want to commit in this situation. It can always be a bit difficult committing to a fight like this, especially with the lack of siege, right? Like, you've got nothing that can really take this down quickly. A ram or 2. I wouldn't be surprised if we actually do see some Some siege engineering come out for him. Alternatively, maybe a siege workshop could work in a little bit of magic. Relics, though, getting picked up. We just hear the first one dropped off. Second one about to be dropped in as well. Third one's coming back. Fourth one will be quickly cleaned up as we do see units making their way across that side. Hitmine, he's going to actually look to siege it down here. Distinct lack of presence here for Mahodo. He's going to need to move units towards the top side. Meanwhile, back around that back spot, the Donzos do manage to spot out Lash in the rear. Plenty of Raxes here as well. We'll look to support. Vil's just going to turn and fight instead of going for a bit of a run. And naturally, Lash says, hey, you know what? That's kind of scary. I don't want to commit to it. +1 ranged armor coming through. Fourth relic now picked up for Lash. Could even look to pick up the fifth one. In fact, where is that fifth relic? Where is that fifth relic? I don't even know. I don't even see it. Oh, it's over here. Oh, he actually sniped away one of the enemy's relics. So that'll be 5-0 relics for him. So that's a great opportunity. I think for Lash right now at this stage, you can 100% go Jiangnan Tower into the Song Dynasty and throw down 2, maybe even 3 TCs. Well, not throw down, but rather come up to 2, maybe 3 TCs. So throw down 1 extra, maybe 2 extra TCs. There we go. Making sure we're specific in our sayings. And Montlu Academy? Oh, I don't know about that one. The problem is, okay, if you go into Montlu Academy right now, Lash, this is a massive mistake, in my opinion, because what's going to happen is you want to keep that for after your economy is built. The Montlu Academy is going to reduce the cost of his units down by a significant amount. And by going into it now, it allows you to access a lot of units right now, but your economy is going to be taking a toll. It means you're not going to get that cheap transition of farms. It means you're not going to unlock granaries. And it means that you're going to be stuck in the Yuan dynasty when realistically you kind of want to transition from one to the other. You want to go Tang into Song into Yuan and then into Ming in the end, and you're just kind of jumping the shark. You're going straight into Yuan. I can't help but feel like this is a pretty big mistake, but we'll see how it plays out for him as he is going to drop down triple pagoda. So this is what his thinking is. He's thinking, well, Drongo, I'm going to go into triple pagoda, and then that way I've kind of got my tithe barns here in the castle age instead of having to go up to the Imperial age, and that saves me a bit of cashola in that regard. Okay, all right, let's see exactly how it plays out for him. He's going to opt for these quite early, 17 minutes into the game. We do see he's got 5 relics, so he's got good control here as well. And by doing this, there is definitely an opportunity just to kind of play one base and just kind of play standard against the Malians, but I don't know if that's really going to stack up against these troops. I mean, you've got the relics in play, so that's definitely one thing, but I mean, I would have just preferred going Imp eventually, but we'll see what the play is. Jiangnan Tower now? Okay, so he's gone into the Yuan dynasty just to get pagodas. Nothing other than the pagodas. That's all he wanted. He said, I'm just going to go fast Yuan dynasty, ignore the bonuses that it gives, and just take advantage of those pagodas. Then I'll go into Jiangnan. I actually don't like, or I don't mind that, rather. I was going to say I don't hate it, but then I was like, no, I'm going to bring that back down to a don't like. I don't hate that. I don't like that. Anyway, you guys get the idea. It's not terrible. It's not terrible. I think this is fine, because as long as you're transitioning to farms under the Song Dynasty, I think that's okay. So Jiangnan Tower is going to make sense here. A couple of sofas now going to start running through. We can see that the beginning of some walls are starting to come through. Double Sacred Site in the middle, going to be neutralized out by Mahodo. Sofa Warriors making their way across the top side. 6 up ranged armor on these bad boys. Shikanu barely going to be scratching the surface. You can see they've got their 7 ranged attack here, so doing 1 damage. Pop, 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 slowly. Where's that second TC? We should be seeing second TCs drop down, a second and a third one even. And then ideally what you want to do is have that farm transition, second TC, third TC, and then at the same time be making Nester Bees. That's what we want to see, because the Nester Bees are going to stall out the enemy, right? You're not going to be able to push into a whole bunch of Nester Bees. You're going to need some way to deal with those. But on the front, the scouts are going to spot out the enemy unit. The numbers are starting to look a little bit scarier, and this is what we were talking about with respecting the Mali and power spike, because this is it right now. And, you know, we were talking about adding in those 2-3 TCs. Well, if you do that, I mean, you've just spent a whole lot of resources on going into Yuan Dynasty. Now you're in Song Dynasty. This is a whole lot of resources for not a whole lot of units. All right, well, Lash at 130 pop up against Mahodo Frodo. He's at 170 pop right now. Big difference between these two. Could look to try and end the game. Here he's going to commit. Javelin throwers on the back, teeing off with the archers together. Need to be cautious about fighting up, or at least attacking into these buildings. Beautiful control from Lash on the north side, chasing down all of these Sofa Warriors. Meanwhile, towards the front, the Shaolin monks don't pop their body of iron just yet. There we go. We see one's got it down. He's got it covered. But now they've all popped it. That's going to help him delay the damage that gets done. Market's going to get thrown down. Needs to buy himself a little bit of wood, or rather a little bit of food here to get some units. Though, to be honest, I just prefer a siege workshop with an Imperial official on it. Get some knobs out here. That's what the world is missing. It's missing more knobs. That is for sure. All right, well, Palisade Wall has come up on the south side of the map for the moment. Meanwhile, Lash manages to hold on. Still a slight advantage for Mahodo at the moment when it comes to the military count. Now, keep in mind, Mahodo can pump. He can pump like crazy because of these cows. These cows are pumping out a huge amount of resources. Let's take a look, in fact, at the resource distribution, or at least resource count for these two guys. We got 13, 1400, 700, so call it 2100. We'll give him a 3k. We'll give him a flat 3k Mahodo at the moment. Meanwhile, for Lash, keep in mind 5 vills behind, but 5 relics up. We're talking 1200, 2300, 28, 2900, somewhere in that region, but we'll give him the same. We'll give him both 3k. So even Steven's economy at this moment, farm transition has just started to come online though, but keep in mind these pagodas are starting to play a real central role to this game because there's a lot of resources coming out of this. 62 wood, 62 food. That's a lot, right? When you think about it, each one of these is now providing 180 plus. That's the equivalent of like 4 vills right there. So you got 4 vills, and then the gold. Oh, let's not even talk about the gold. What's the gold? The gold's 100? Yeah, oh my lord. Okay, all right. He's cooking. Let him cook. Let the man cook. All right, get him in the kitchen. Give him the pan. Give him the spatula. Do you use the spatula and a pan together? I feel like, yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Calm down. It's okay. All right. Well, that farm transition's well and truly arrived. At this point, Lash still not 100% online just yet, but he is going to slowly chase these units around. You can see how difficult it is without the bonus that he's going to get in the Imperial Age. So he'll be looking to lock in the Temple of the Sun to get that infantry boost, or at least that infantry movement speed boost. But he may not even look to go for that. He could just look to try and play it out in the Castle Age. We're 22 minutes into this game, and the numbers are starting to look a little bit better for him. 125 pop. Still no second note. I take it back. There's the second TC. It gets thrown down. Nice little spot for him. Where's that third TC, though? He's got the resources for it. In fact, he's probably got the resources, almost got resources for the fourth as well. Decent number. But now, in the middle of the map, Siege Workshop going to get thrown down by Mahodo. We're right on board with him and check how he is doing. Look at the amount of houses that are back here. Tell you what, he's playing the Malians, not the Hausa, but with this many houses, you'd think he was. What is going on here? These units, have they just been patrolling here forever? Forever, ever? Forever, ever? That's a good song. Can you name the song? Yes. Yes, it is Outcast. Well done. Little wall attempt coming in from Lash. Not going to be finished off, at least not for the moment. Vil comes back. He's going to get a charge in. Vil will go down. He's taken out 17 already this game. A huge amount. Make it 18 now. Mahodo is well and truly ahead on that economic front, at least on that Vil count front. The wall's now going to start coming up more and more. Lash looking to secure himself. And the more I see these walls come up, the more time he buys himself. But as I said, I think the key here is that he needs to move into Nesta Bees. That's going to be the big thing. And here we go. This is exactly what we need. Vils building up this Siege Workshop. Imperial official supervising the Siege Workshop. And just a whole bunch of Nesta Bees. At this point in the game, you could justify 5, 6, 7 Nesta Bees. They do transition well into the Imperial Age, especially with the Temple of the Sun, because you do have access to that little bit of range increase. He's got the first Siege Workshop down. This is going to be the second one. I don't even know why you need 2. These are kind of expensive, right? We're talking, what, 300, 250, 250 wood for each of these Siege Workshops. Imperial official is on the wood. Not a whole lot of wood in the bank at the moment, though, for Lash, and definitely a little bit more gold. So it's probably almost certainly going to be a Temple of the Sun at this point. Mahodo approaching maximum velocity. We can see he's at 200 out of 200. A lot of military units on the map. Look at the size of this mass. Huge mass. Definitely a manganellable mass of units right there. Meanwhile, towards that south side, I tell you what, it's 4:30 in the afternoon. My wife, she's cooking up a bit of chicken at the moment, and my lord, it smells good. It smells good. I was talking a bit earlier about the coffee that I had this morning. That was probably about, what, 2 or 3 casts ago, and how good that smelled. But now I can tell you right now, that chicken, it's got a, I think she does, so I don't know if you guys know Nando's. They do like a chili chicken. She has her own sauce that she based off the Nando sauce, and she's got that going. It's a treat. It's a real treat. All right, well, a little bit of a raid going to be coming through now for Lash on that north side. Temple of the Sun coming through here as well. He's up to 1 Nesta B. 2 more in queue. Imperial official. Nowhere to be seen at the moment. There's the age up now. Arriving. As the Temple of the Sun is in the back of the base. Expect him to switch that over to Divine Defense once he's got a few more knobs out on the front. Could be trouble in paradise here. He's a little bit split. Units at the back. It's a whole bunch of crossbows. Needs to make sure he keeps these units, the Nesta B in particular, alive. He's only got 2 out right now. This is where I was talking about the supervision and how important it is. Muhodo going to be pushing at the perfect time right now. Lash could be in trouble. Nothing to defend these Nesta Bs. The first one goes down. Where are the rest of your knobs, my friend? Imperial official, get over there. Supervise right now. You've got that bonus, right? You've got that bonus, right? That regional inspection bonus. He doesn't. He doesn't have it. It's painful. It's painful to witness. He could be absolutely pumping out right now, but it is trouble in paradise as Lash on 67 Vils is struggling to keep that head above water. A lot of ranged units in the back. Single Mangonel beginning to move up. Couple of Musafati on the front, going to get absolutely sniped away, but he falls back into the keep. Vil count continues to fall. He's lost 45 so far. He's scrambling up towards the top side as the Sofa Warriors are well and truly behind enemy lines at this stage of the game. Temple of the Sun still working it out on the infantry movement speed. Crossbowman with 1.29 for the moment. Vils get taken out. He's lost 55 Mango into the backside. It's only an H3 Mango. We don't care too much about it. Beautiful timing on this attack, though. Nice little splits come through. Mango falls. And now somehow, some way, Muhodo manages to hold. And have a look at this behind the scenes. Something that we didn't witness, but we can see on the Vil graph, on the Vil chart. Ladies and gentlemen, there was a little bit of a counterattack behind the scenes. Of course, we saw the Palace Guards move towards the top side, but our focus was towards that big fight that happened inside the base of Lash. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, Lash manages to get an eye for an eye and blinds his opponent. Beautifully positioned. And now we enter an interesting phase of the game. So, Lash is still on 3 TC. Lash has got the good farming economy. Lash is in Imperial Age. I don't dislike this position. I think this is manageable. But I think the one key ingredient that is going to make all the difference here is your Nesta B. We've seen it time and time again throughout the games that we have witnessed of 2025, which, by the way, this is another certified banger for 2025, 27 minutes into the game. We can declare a certified banger is on the cards. What are we at? Game number 12? Somewhere in that region? I actually need to, like, start counting these because it's, you know, I don't want to just be assuming that we're on game number 12. Here we are on game number 643 for the year 2025. Well, it doesn't work like that. If you post one a day, the max you're going to be hitting is 366. All right, well, not in 2025, though. Last year, you would have hit 366. This year, 365. All right, well, Sofa Warriors break through once again. A little bit of an opening down here. Might need to move units to cover. Nothing out of the ordinary just yet. +1 melee attack going to be coming through. A little bit of bloomery in my life. A little bit of undermesh by my iron. Oh, come on, that was good. You guys know a little bit of Luke Bager. How good is that? How good is that? Fort of the Huntress now down. Mosque, I guess he's going for Sacred Sites. That's his thinking here. Sacred Sites. So Fort of the Huntress on the front line here. It's going to help out with these Musofari. You can see there are a couple. Hold on. We can see a whole bunch of them here. They've all got that stealth, but Musafati going to be getting that extra damage as well that's coming through. To the south side. So for Warriors, make their way in. They make their way out of the base. There we go. We got it out eventually. You know what's interesting is we've seen a couple of Chinese and Juicy Legacy games today, or at least that I've casted, and in all of them, there's just been like a distinct lack of Nesta Bs. I don't know, man. Maybe it was just that puppy paw game that kind of made me respect the Nesta B and be like, okay, these units are kind of cracked at the moment. Like, even up against the formidable Mangonel that we've seen time and time again just be absurdly silly, the Nesta B actually, it can hold its own. Anyway, we'll move on. We'll move forward, as it's a double racks on the front line as well with an archery range. Muhodo still with a huge amount of military in the bank. 138 pop versus 134. Lash definitely, as I mentioned earlier, I still think Lash is in a good spot. But the fact that he's got the 3 TCs tells me that he's going to be scaling. And the sooner you can scale, the sooner you can wail in that late game on your enemy. That's exactly what you want to be doing. More upgrades on the way through. It's going to be Elite Jukunu. plate cutter point as well coming through. So I like this. Honestly, this is something that you can definitely excel with as the Juicy legacy. So we'll have to see whether he plays into it. One of the utilizations of the Temple of the Sun, I'd love to see. It's a basic one. Just moving into Divine Vitality. Just for a minute or two. Heal up all these units, especially when you know that mangonels are in play. Can be a really, really nice utilization of that landmark. So we'll keep an eye out on it and see whether he does actually heal it up. But I suspect it's probably not going to be the case. I'd love to have that on the UI, to just be able to see on the UI what the Temple of the Sun was currently sitting on. Because that's important information, right? We want to know that. And I don't want to have to, like, I mean, realistically, I should be setting this as like a hotkey. Let's make it Control 6. And then I can just just check for you guys like that. But now I got to remember that it's Control 6. Maybe we set it to Control 1 and Control 2 and Control 3. Plate cutter point is now through for Lash. He's up 23 vils at the moment. Let's do a little check of the economy. They seem to be pretty even Stevens at the moment as the cannon emplacement comes through. 2.1k, 2.7k. Oh my lord, that's a 4.1k. 4.3k coming through for Lash. 4.3k on the other side. We've got a 1, 2. Give him a 3. Yeah, 3k. So Lash with a pretty decent-sized economic advantage at the moment, despite the cows. Despite the presence of cows, despite the pit mines, the Mansa Quarry all producing, going ham. And I think that's largely because of the granary and how strong these guys are, together with your combination of Imperial officials and pagodas. Now, has he got Tithe Barns? No Tithe Barns just yet. It's only going to affect 2 out of the 5 relics, but, you know, if you've got 2 relics, right, you're still researching Tithe Barns. So, to me, it kind of seems like one of those things where it's like, maybe we should. All right, well, Zhuge-Nu. Have we got the incendiary arrows? No incendiary arrows, but he's opting for elite army tactics. Out of all the upgrades, that's the one you go for, Lash? I don't know, man. Something tells me that the Zhuge-Nu upgrade, or at least like the Zhuge-Nu crossbow upgrade, you'd probably get a bit more value. Though I guess, to be fair, you get some nice melee armor on the palace guards and the spears, which is going to help you against Musofati. So maybe it's not a bad play, right? He's only got 5 Musofati at the moment, but it's going to be instrumental. Palace guards come through, especially if a fight breaks out with a lot of melee units. But now, Mangoes, 1, 2, 3, 4. Do we have adjustable crossbars yet? Nice little split. Let's quickly check. No adjustable crossbars. 8 tiles of range, 3 burst attacks, and of course that radius. Ooh. Mango shots. You can see just how weak they are, how little they're able to do. Spears onto the backside. He's going to try and focus down these Mangoes. Nice little splits coming through. He makes his way to the front, but good control coming out from Mahodo. 4 Mangoes getting in some work. We need to see that upgrade, though. If you really want to make a dent in this army, you're going to need to upgrade, baby. That is very, very important. You can see those Mango shots coming out. Meanwhile, towards the top side, more Nesta Bees, more Palace Guards doing work. Lash taking out a lot of vills this game. He's taken out 41 compared to the 63 of the enemy. And you got to remember, he's got that 3 TC pumping. Now, are we still solo TC over on this side? And this is despite the fact that we know Mahodo has spotted out these TCs. And I don't like that. I feel like we should have moved into a second TC a little bit sooner. All right, well, Villager's going to start working. Wait, excuse me. So, this is not going to work. There is not a lot of worlds where this one works. Maybe in like the Bronze 1 world, maybe Bronze 2. But even Bronze 3 is going to catch on to this one pretty quick. Mahodo, you're going to have to take the ring and get on out of here, my friend, because, well, it ain't happening today. You ain't securing, you ain't gaining any rings through that route. All right, well, range units towards the north side. Lash reaching that maximum pop. Mangoes, age 3 still. No adjustable crossbars just yet. Another big shot, but keep in mind, he's barely dotting damage down here. Lash is going to have to fall back. There's still a lot of units. There's a lot of archers here. I just realized, look at the size of the archer mass. 63 archers. Meanwhile, towards the backside, Palace Guards come in. They say, how you doing? You mind if I have a little bit of a swing here? Plus 3 ranged armors through. But at the end of the day, the archers are still going to work their way through all that ranged armor. Mangoes. Make it out the back. And archers protecting mangonels. Who would have thought? You see the day. All right, well, we're right on board now with Mahodo. See how he's doing. We'll check in with that economy once again. Decent control of gold veins out here. Keep in mind the large gold veins are going to be key to contest. It's got control on the north. Good control on the south. Things are going well for him at this stage of the game. Where is Lash getting his gold from? Now, obviously, he's got 5 relics, so he's getting it from there. He's also got the Imperial officials. He's got a lot of Imperial officials. That's another thing to note. And he is collecting his gold from the granaries. Can always be tough because you often get granaries like this that start stacking up gold. And it can mean you come check these guys after 10 minutes and you've got 1,200 gold sitting in there. And it's like, I wish I had that gold in my kitty right now, but I don't. Anyway, keep coming up for Lash. We could potentially see a siege workshop. No, you probably wouldn't see that, but maybe a bombard or two rolling up to the front. We do have double trebs that are out. I don't know exactly where they are, but the number of keeps on this map is too damn high. Lash agrees, forces the cancel out from Mahodo. 160 pop versus 190 at the moment. Advantage still with Mahodo. And have a look at this. Lash actually going to be going after the cows. He realizes that there's too many cows on the map, and he says, well, it's actually the pastures, aka the cattle ranches. Now, one of the things that you should be doing, which I think he is doing, you just want to be killing these cows. They've only got 24 health on them, so just a couple of melee hits, and that's all you need, and that can really annoy a Malian player. So something very important to do. More units making their way across that top side, just enough to deal with what's at home. A lot of Musofati, though. Look at the size of the army. 79 versus 54. Or rather 79 and 54 together. That's, oh my, okay. This could be problematic. We're 36 minutes into this game. This could be really problematic right now. Lash is at 142 pop. Lash, if there's something that you need to do right now, it is chill. You need to chill the flip out. You need to build a keep in the front of your base. And you need to hope that your enemy doesn't get the memo about your lack. What's going on with Lash? I don't know, man, but it's just like the Vil count isn't rising. Like, don't get me wrong, it is rising, but it's not rising fast enough. We should have been at 130 pop 20 minutes. Maybe not 20 minutes ago. You get the idea, though, right? You know, I guess at the end of the day, right, we all play our civs a different way. Like, for me, it's more focused around the knob. It's more focused around the eco. And Lash is definitely no slouch when it comes to playing this civ. Obviously, a Conk 3 player knows exactly what he's doing. But just looking to play it a little bit differently. Numbers for Mahodo, once again. Look at the size of this army. We now see silk bowstrings coming through for him as well. A little bit more range. Still no adjustable crossbars just yet. Of course, it is quite an expensive upgrade. Meanwhile, towards the north, it looks like Mahodo is going to be committing for a sacred victory here. A lot of units on this sacred site in the north. Palace Guards together with the Jukunu on the back line. Temple of the Sun. He's going to be providing that. Actually, wait, where is it? I lost the hotkey, apparently. Maybe if I switch players, I lose the hotkey. And you can see right now, Lash is just running from the Musofati. He barely sees half of them. All the rest of them are in stealth, and they are going to reveal themselves eventually. Mahodo's, he's maxed. He's actually maxed right now. He's got a huge army. Look at the size of this. 145 military pop right now. Talk about a Malian monstrosity. We are witnessing it. Horsemen coming out. They've got the elite upgrade. He's going to try and contest this. There's not enough units here. There's nowhere near enough units. Lash is going to try, but look, what's going on? Look at all the resources in the bank. Lash, spend your resources, buddy. Get some units out here. He's got no production back at home. And now the Jukunu are going to try and tear through that back line. We can see he's got up to 11 damage here. But still, just getting eaten alive by that Malian defense, down to 120 population on that military count. Mahodo still with a huge amount of units on the field here. All right, if you're Lash in this position, what's your play? What's your go-to? Number one, you want to throw more Vils on wood. I don't know where they are. I don't know who they are, but you need to send them over to wood right now. You probably want to keep the Vils that are on gold, but like maybe you throw some of these food Vils over onto wood. That's the first thing. Second thing, you want some nest of bees, and third things, you want to spend these resources. Nest of bees. You want to get some palace guards out here, horsemen definitely, maybe mix in a couple more Jukunu. You want to just get the whole mix out, but realistically, you just want to try and get units out. That's what's so important, because right now, this is tough, right? You got 5 minutes to go till sacred victory. You can't be contesting this when you're at like 150 pop, right? It just doesn't make sense. If you're going to do it, you got to do it properly. You got to do it right. You got to do it once and for all. That's the best way to do it. And then you got to trickle in those reinforcements. But how much production have we actually got back here? If we check and we take a look, he's got 12 Raxes, 8 stables. That's good. That is a good amount of production to have. 5 rangers as well. Double siege workshop. So he is well and truly versed in the art of production. So we'll wait and see whether he just clicks it a little bit more. He could move into lances as well. I guess that's an option for him, just to avoid having to spend wood on the horsemen, because it might not seem like a lot, but 10 horsemen, 200 wood, it adds up, and it could be the difference between a knob and no knob. All right, well, he's behind enemy lines. He's trying to find a way back into this game. He's got a huge mountain to climb when it comes to the military count, but he has built a way back up. 183 pop now versus 188, so he's found a way back into this game. The production memo definitely got given through to Lash. And now trying once again to take down the cattle ranch. A couple more horsemen behind the scenes. We can see he's picked up Dali horses. A little bit of extra attack speed here. Going to translate over into a slight improved DPS number. Adjustable crossbars is still not through these mangonels. You don't have to respect them not nearly as much as you should. And now those Musafati going to reveal themselves. A lot of units here for Lash on the defense, and he's going to try on the defense. Keep in mind, he's got the cannon emplacement inside this keep. A massive army coming out for the Malians. But still, he realizes that it's a solid position and he can't fight at the mangonels. He's got a nice little sandwich at the front here, going to try and block, prevent the enemy from hitting that front line. And Lash looking good all of a sudden. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, we do hear these attack sirens going off. He's distracting the enemy, doing a decent job. But the numbers still looking good for Mahodo. Lash somehow putting it into gear. A lot of units in queue for him. Is at 178 population. Plenty streaming out from across the top side. Archer number continuing to fall for Mahodo now. It's taken a while for him to get in control of this, but it's starting to feel like Lash is looking a little bit better. Treb's also taking down the Fort of the Huntress. A lot of Vils, or what I can expect of Vils inside here. Fort of the Huntress gonna be the difference in keeping this position alive and losing it. Meanwhile, towards the top side, we've got outposts that are getting thrown down here. He's really committing to this sacred victory right now. Cannon emplacements are coming through on these whole outposts. He's looking to get a little bit of fortification through as well. May need to think, oh, finally. Finally, Lash. Finally, but is it too late? Is it too little too late? Are we getting JoJo vibes from this Nesta B timing? What would complement this perfectly right now? A couple of bombards. You recognize that there's a threat. The threat, the sacred victory. It's approaching. 3 minutes 40. We don't have time to pussyfoot around with Trebs. We need bombards and we need them stat. Will he put the 2 and 2 together? Will he work that out? We also need a nice little front line for these knobs. Have we got all of our upgrades for the Nesta B? Looks like it. Double check. Temple of the Sun. Switch it over to Divine Defense, please. That's going to be our main focus. And we could look... I mean, you probably wouldn't want to look for a Ming Dynasty here. I don't think it's going to be worth it for you in the long run, or at least in the short run. Like, the main focus needs to be neutralizing the sacred sites. Once that's done, then I think you're going to be okay. But as I said, like, the trouble that you've got right now is 2 Trebs are working down a single Fort of the Huntress. It ain't going down. We are not playing Kesha in this bitch. Okay, five Trebs. Now Kesha is playing. It's going down. I'm yelling... Timber. Okay, there we go. Musafati around the bottom side. Lash spots this out. He's just going to be rallied onto the wall. There's plenty of Vils here, so he did have that as an opportunity. But you don't want to go too early here. Still, that's too early. If the Fort of the Huntress is up, it's too early. You cannot fight under that. It's got the cannon emplacement, and you've got to remember the most important thing here is keeping your units alive. Nesta B numbers! Oh, he got the memo well and truly is up to 8. All of a sudden, Lash says, we're going to commit to this, Drongo. Do not fray. Do not fray, do not fret. Do not fret, Drongo. But the Fort of the Huntress isn't going down. There's so many Vils here repairing at 21. He's going to have to force them out if he wants to take this down. He's got 2 minutes left on this sacred timer. He's going to have to push the issue. Lash now maxed out. He's got plenty of units on the way through. Mahodo, a.k.a. Frodo Baggins. It's Frodo Baggins? It's Frodo Baggins, right? Sam? Yeah. Frodo. Mahodo. Landmark goes down, and with that, Lash gets an invitation onto the sacred site. 1 minute and 45 to go. Keep in mind, this is the EGC Masters, the winter you are watching right now. Nesta B is going to begin moving towards that sacred site. If the sacred site goes down, Mahodo is going to be going down here. This is it. This is his only way through. Oh, there's no defense on the Nesta Bs. All of the stealth units managed to race up towards the front. Meanwhile, around the top side, he's completely split. There's no front here to protect all the units. He doesn't care. Look at the amount of units that are here for Mahodo. He overwhelms the Nesta Bs. Goodbye, your front line. Rallying more units through. The Nesta Bs need to find a way out. He needs to fall back. He needs to get out of here. But all of the Musafati warriors clean up this crew. 1 minute and 35 until we are calling it game. And Lash has lost a huge amount of units here. He's rallying more onto it, but you can see he's got nothing in the bank. 150 versus 130 pop. Musofati and archers, it's going to be it. That's all you need to do, and he just didn't. He lost that front line. There was way too little on that front to protect, because you need that front so you can fall back. He felt open, and naturally he wasn't able to get that kite going in, and that's what you want to see on the Nesta Bees. You want to fire, you want to fall back, you want to fire, you want to fall back. He didn't have it, and because of that, I think this might be it. I think this might be game. I don't think there's any way he does it. Lash, I think, might be out of it here. The Sacred Victory is closing out on the North Sacred Site. We've got Springald emplacements, we've got cannon emplacements, we've got a whole bunch of toll outposts on the South Sacred Site. We got archers galore, baby, and we got a whole lot more as Mahodo looks to try and take one in this finals. Impressive performance here today. Now beginning to move forward with the trebuchets. This is where you got to pull all the vills. You got to pull all the vills. You got to do the Don. Otherwise, you're going down. It's 25 seconds to go. He needs to do this right now. I'd even think about going vills on the top sacred side. All the farmers to the sacred side. And there the vills are. He pulls them. He gets the message loud and clear. Treb's moving onto the sacred site. A lot of archers here as well. Nesta B's going to fire off. Please tell me he's got the extra range. He doesn't have the extra range. Oh, you hate to see it. You really do. You hate to see it. That little bit of extra range could have been the difference. But today, unfortunately, I don't think it matters, as Mahodo, with 23 seconds left on this sacred site, continues to pump out the damage. Cannon emplacements through. Hold on, Drongo. The fat lady ain't singing just yet. The bells ain't ringing just yet. Lash gonna rally more units through. He's got another 10 in the queue. Mahodo on the other side. He's only got... Oh, hold on. Hold on, now Vill's coming in for Mahodo. We got ourselves a certified banger here. 2025, the year that keeps on giving. More and more units make their way to the central location. Vill's being brought in from the south. We got more units rallying in from the base as well. Sacred sites are being contested all around. Cannon emplacement, working it down. 17 seconds, nothing on the site, holding it. 15, 14, 13, he's cleaned it up. There's 32 archers, there's 20 Musofati, and that's GG, baby. There ain't no way you're getting out of that one. Too many Musofati, rather too many Malian Musofati, that is for sure. And what an absolute finish to this incredible 46-minute game from EGC TV Masters. Ladies and gentlemen, the victor today, it is going to be your Frodo Baggins impersonator. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you go check out EGC TV this weekend. I think it's 16 GMT. I can't be sure. Might be 15 GMT. It depends. Anyway, I'll leave a link in the description, and I'll leave the correct time in there, and we'll catch you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.